A Montreal man is on a mission to gather up as many jock straps as possible. Do I have your attention? Good, because it's for a good cause. David Lisbona already has hundreds of packs of the protective gear in his basement, and soon they'll be on their way to a hockey school in Israel. It's a school that's using hockey to unite people, but why the focus on jock straps? David joins me from Montreal to explain. Good morning, David. Tell me, how did the idea to collect these jock straps come about?
Good morning, Ben. Thank you. The idea for the jock straps, frankly, came from a meeting that my brother-in-law, who's also my partner, had in Israel. We've been sending hockey gear there for about 25 years now, if you can believe it. And basically, they came back to us and said, everything's great. You're sending us goalie equipment and high-end equipment, but we need jock straps, which makes perfect sense to me, given that it's not, that type of equipment is not readily available in Israel, and frankly, we don't send it if it's donated here.
So you used to send hockey sticks and skates, but there's a dearth of jock straps in the country?
So we continue to send all sorts of equipment, but we finally identified an item that we just never sold. Never collected and never sent. So obviously for hygienic reasons. So I took up the cause, and I happened to stumble across them the first time at a Dollarama store, and I said, "There's something here. Let me look further into this."
Well, let's take a step back and let's talk about this push to unite people through hockey. What's that all about?
Sure. So it's a program in Metula, Israel, which is the furthest point north. It's the location of the Canada Centre, which is an arena that was built in the 90s, 94 actually, by the Canadian Jewish community. The Canada-Israel Hockey School is a new school that was conceived up there and is sponsored by Sidney Greenberg, formerly of Astral, here in Toronto. And what they do is they bring together kids from the region, whether they be Jews, Arabs, Druze, or Muslims, Arab Christians, that is. And it's a wonderful, I call it peace through hockey. It actually is a fluke that, my original intention 25 years ago was simply to develop a program in Israel to help the national team to, really work with grassroots hockey. And sure enough, this is what has come of it, and I couldn't be happier to be associated with the effort.
Okay, let's get back to these jock straps. How many are currently sitting in your house?
Well, I have to tell you, they've been slowly but surely they're being removed from the packaging. So there was a meeting with my brother-in-law between Montreal and Ottawa over the weekend. So there is a bag that's on its way to Toronto to get onto a plane to Israel on the 17th. And my youngest daughter and I continue to remove the jock straps from the packaging so that they will soon get on their way to on another flight, I guess, to Israel. There must be, right now, there were about 150 that went last Saturday. I must have over 200. And frankly, people keep hearing about this effort, and I keep getting jock straps. It's one of those gifts that keeps on giving, I guess.
What's been the reaction that you've been hearing from people who have participated in this program in Israel?
So I think the first reaction was, they're usually incredulous when North Americans come there and say, "Oh, I'm going to do all sorts of things for you," because I think ultimately they're shocked. We have sent over 75 bags of hockey equipment this year, and now they're going to be getting these jocks, the jock straps. So I think they're just surprised by anything that we end up doing. But this has been a passion of mine for, as I said, about a quarter century now. We have great support from people like Air Canada and the Canadian ambassador to Israel and the Israeli consul general here in Montreal. So everyone has just embraced this program, and especially now that it unites people in an area that really needs uniting, I think it's a wonderful program.
Have you noticed that the skills of the Israeli players have increased over the years?
So the beautiful thing we've seen last year, I don't know if you know, David Levin was the first choice in the Ontario Hockey League draft. He's an Israeli-born hockey player, and we couldn't be happier. Now, that's not to say that he necessarily enjoyed this program in Metula, but he started inline skating in Israel, and that's how we start the kids in the program. They inline skate, and then we slowly move them onto the ice. So I couldn't be happier. I'm so pleased that there are Israeli kids that are taking up the sport, a sport that I love, a sport that I really want to, I want them to embrace in Israel, and I really couldn't be prouder right now.
David Lisbona, thank you for everything you do. Happy Hanukkah to you and yours.
Thank you, and to you too, Ben, and to everyone out there.
Ahead on Your Morning, Ontario's premier